Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. For today's video, it is only Nat, no Hen. He is currently with the baby. We have missed you guys so much. We're sorry that we've been MIA for quite a while now since our last video. We were actually in the process of finding a new place and trying to move out, packing everything. All at the same time, I'm experiencing third trimester pregnancy symptoms and it was just crazy. It was insane the last few weeks, but we are back. And as I mentioned on my Instagram, I did a poll asking if you guys would like to hear my labor story, and I got a lot of votes, so thank you so much to all of you guys that participated. So like I mentioned, we were not able to film my labor vlog, unfortunately. I'm super sad because I really wanted to capture that for you guys and for us to have as memories as well, but Kaiser is pretty strict on that and they told us that we were not allowed to film. So that really sucks, but at least I'm here doing a story time for you guys. So grab your snacks and your drinks and just sit back and hear my story. I gave birth at 41 weeks on June 9. My whole labor experience was better than I expected, thank God Almighty, because I was so worried that so many things can go wrong. I was praying that I can have a natural birth and no complications, and every woman's prayer, so I'm so blessed that everything turned out perfectly fine with my baby and with myself. I kind of jotted down how everything went down just so that hopefully I don't forget anything, and I'm going to try to make this not as lengthy for you guys. So it all started on June 6 at 1:15 in the morning. I lost my mucus plug. Now, losing my mucus plug was something that I was so scared of because I was always thinking like, oh my God, how is that gonna look? How's it gonna feel? Does that mean like labor's about to start? Am I gonna be in pain? But actually, when I lost it, there was zero pain for that moment, at least. I wake up, I go pee, and I see in my underwear that there's a lot of blood. It literally looked like I had gotten my period back, except that there was a mucus discharge on my underwear, and I started having an anxiety attack. Literally, like I'm on the toilet and my hands are shaking, and I'm like, I call Henry out loud. He comes because he was asleep. I'm like, oh my God, I think this is my mucus plug. But mind you, I'm not in pain at all. So I call my mom, no answer. She was asleep. I call my dad, no answer. I call my sister, she wakes up my mom, and I tell my mom what's going on, and she tells me go to the hospital right away. I call the nurse helpline and explain to her what's going on, and she advises for me to come in. So we head to Kaiser, I go to L&D, I go to triage. Fast forward, the doctor checks me and I'm 0 centimeters dilated, which I was kind of bummed because I'm thinking, I don't know, I was going to be at least 2 or 3 centimeters at that point, but I wasn't dilated. So he sends me back home, which I was surprised because I always imagined that once you lose your mucus plug, you're admitted and labor's gonna happen soon after, but I was totally wrong. So I go back home. That same day, later at night, I started experiencing contractions. They weren't that bad, so I pulled through and I stayed home. The next day, June 7, around 5 a.m., I start feeling stronger contractions. So I go back to the hospital, and the doctor in the L&D department tells me that I'm basically 3 centimeters dilated, and he tells me we can admit you, but we'll most likely induce you, or you can go back home. My main OB doctor had already scheduled me to be induced for June 12 at 3:30 p.m. I was kind of sad and worried because I'm thinking, I hope my baby comes sooner. I low-key didn't want to be induced because they had put all this fear in me that, oh my God, if you get induced is more painful. So, I didn't want to, but I had already accepted the fact that, okay, I might have to be induced. So this doctor's telling me, we can admit you today, but you'll be induced, or you can go back home because you're barely 3 centimeters, he told me. I explained to him that my doctor has me scheduled to be induced for June 12, and he tells me that's too far out. Why would you be torturing yourself for that long? And he tells me, why don't we reschedule you for June 9, same time. So I agreed, if the baby wouldn't come on her own, of course. So I go back home. The contractions keep coming, but they're like 10-15 minutes apart at this point. So June 9 comes around, and around 8 in the morning, I'm laying in bed right here in agonizing pain. I lay on my side, and at this point Henry's in the restroom brushing his teeth, getting ready to clock in for work, and I felt water come out like if I peed. It was warm and felt like a gush, and literally like seconds later I get super strong contraction to the point where I groaned out loud, and I call out for Henry, and he comes with the toothbrush in his mouth, and I tell him I think my water broke. I'm literally in agonizing pain. I couldn't get up from right here from this bed. I couldn't get up. He had to help me. I was struggling because I couldn't even move my legs, like swing him around to get up from the bed. And I'm telling him, no, wait, I can't move. It was just, I can't explain the type of pain. I go to the restroom and I look at my pad. I couldn't tell, it looked like just some type of mucus discharge with light blood, but it felt like it was pee. And so I tell Henry, you know what, I can't take it anymore. It had been since June 6th. This is June 9 already. Like I had been days in pain and it was just getting worse and worse. I got sent back home twice. I tell Henry I can't take it anymore, like let's go. But first I decide to hop in the shower and I tell him, can you please cook me breakfast so I can try to eat something, because I think today is the day. So he starts cooking for me and I'm in the shower and I'm in agonizing pain. Like guys, you can't, like, only if you've had a baby, you know the pain. I don't even know how to explain it. Like the closest thing, and it's not even close, but it's like period cramps times like 100 more intense. And so I'm in the shower and I'm literally crying. And honestly guys, like quickly what helped me get through it, a lot of prayer, breathing techniques, because I had watched some YouTube videos, and I also downloaded this app that I will link down below. It's called Christian Hypnobirthing. It's like $5 or $6, but that helped me a lot because if you're into like positive affirmations, then you'll like this app. It was just so heart touching. I would play these tracks over and over days before I delivered, and it was just very spiritually and emotionally empowering and encouraging. Definitely, if you believe in God and you're into listening to positive affirmations, I recommend that app. It helps me a lot. So I hopped in the shower, I'm listening to this app, I'm praying to God, I'm crying. Like I literally can't even stand straight as I'm standing in the shower. It was just so bad. I'm trying to do these movements because they say that movement helps a lot with labor, doing these breathing techniques, and it was just getting stronger and stronger and closer. Like at this point my contractions were like 5-6 minutes apart. I even called Henry. I'm like, can you come and stay in the restroom with me? I'm like, I don't want to be alone. I just felt like I was gonna faint any minute. And so I get out the shower, I dress quickly. I actually didn't even eat the breakfast. I put in a little dish and I said, let's take it just in case. We head in a rush to Kaiser, and I'm literally, guys, in the car, like I don't even know how to explain it. Like I can't even sit straight and I'm just in the worst pain ever. There's traffic, we have to take the freeway, like any little bump is torture for me, like it's just making it worse. We get to the hospital and there's no parking to make it worse. We're looking for parking, we go to the second floor. I tell Henry I cannot walk. My poor husband rushes it down, gets a wheelchair, brings it all the way up to the second floor, and I can't even get off the car. Somehow I managed to sit on the freaking wheelchair. We have to go all the way to labor and delivery. I go into triage, which only Henry can be in there with me. I had already called my family. They started to head over to the hospital. They test the fluid. Turns out, yes, that it was the amniotic fluid. At this point, I'm having a hard time breathing. They put me on an oxygen mask. I thought I was gonna die. It was just very intense. But the weird thing is that I wouldn't scream. I don't know if because I'm naturally more of a quiet introvert person. I was more like groaning and twisting and turning. I would just hold on to the bar of the bed, of the hospital bed, and squeeze it. And I would just close my eyes and try to do these deep breathing techniques and just pray and pray. The RN comes in, starts monitoring my vitals, starts an IV, and she asks me if I want an epidural. I told her I wanted to try to go without it, but that I was open to it. A couple hours pass by, the doctor comes in, and I'm like freaking scared because I already know what that means. Okay, it's time to insert his fingers and check me. And again, if you've given birth, you know that that is painful. I tell the doctor, I'm like, can you please give me a minute, please? I'm having contractions, I'm in pain. So he was like, okay, we'll give you a few seconds. He tells me, okay, Natalie, like he literally goes like that. He's like, okay, Natalie, well, let's get this going. I need to check you. So I'm like, oh my God, like, well, what am I gonna do? He needs to check me. He checks me, and guys, surprisingly, this is where like I was shocked. He tells me, oh, you're 6 centimeters dilated already. Wow, you did all the hard work at home. In that pain, I'm still thinking in my mind, I'm 6 centimeters? Like, what the hell? I have to get a delivery room ready for me. Another hour or two passes, and the pain was just getting worse and worst. To the point, guys, where I'm like, you know what? I tell Henry, I do want it. I want the epidural. I don't think I can do this all the way through. The nurse comes in. I tell her I do want it. So she's like, okay, I'll notify the anesthesiologist. Fast forward, they transfer me to the delivery room, which there my family was able to come in. I'm waiting for the anesthesiologist, and my mom comes up. I'm just in so much pain. I could barely even talk to my mom. Her and my husband were just super supportive. I know a lot of pregnant women say that their family gets annoying or like they're too on top of them, but my husband and my mom were not annoying whatsoever. They gave me my space while still being supportive, you know, verbally and physically if I would ask them to. I'm so thankful that I was able to have my mom and my husband there. At this point, I'm like 7 to 8 centimeters dilated because they had been like 2-3 hours since I was last checked. And finally, the anesthesiologist comes in. They told me that my family couldn't be in there while they were doing the epidural. I'm looking at my family like, oh my God, like I don't want you guys to leave. Like I'm freaking scared. I'm nervous. People say negative things about epidural, that it hurts or that you could be paralyzed. A lot of people are just not educated on how epidurals work. I do recommend that you ask all your questions and concerns to your doctor. Chances of you being paralyzed or it going wrong are very low. So my family leaves and the doctor says, okay, so it's gonna take about 30 minutes or so. So once the epidural was inserted and done with, my family comes up and oh my God, it was such a relief. You feel so much better. It takes about 15 minutes for the epidural to kick in. The nurses are telling me, we really recommend that you try to get some sleep because you're going to need all the energy when it's time to start pushing. A few hours later, I start feeling pain again. And I'm like, why do I feel pain? I'm asking my mom and Henry. They're like, you shouldn't. It keeps getting stronger and I'm freaking out. So I call my nurse. She checks me and she tells me your epidural has unplugged. It was like a portal here or something that they had taped and it had unplugged. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, no wonder. She's like, you're feeling pain again because the medication has been wearing off. They give you this, they call it a PCA pump where you push the button and it keeps delivering more of the epidural medication. And so all this time I had been pushing it and it wasn't even going inside my body because the freaking epidural had unplugged. You can imagine I freaked out. I've been unhooked from epidural this time. And so the nurse is like, I think she hooked it back up, but she's like, let me call the anesthesiologist so he can assess you and see what he can do. So he comes a few minutes later and he tells me I can administer a stronger dose of the same narcotic. So it can basically like play catch up with you. But thank God that after he administered that dose, about 15-20 minutes later, the pain went down a lot. So around 10 p.m., they check me and I'm finally 10 centimeters dilated. They tell me, okay, it's time to start pushing. And I'm like, oh my God, like it looks easier than what it is, the pushing part. In the beginning, it's just one RN that's in there with you doing the practice pushing, kind of coaching you how to push. I have Henry and my mom next to me. I start pushing and at first, most women don't do it right. So don't feel discouraged if you're a first-time mom and you're gonna deliver soon. So the nurse is coaching me and telling me how to push. Time is passing. I keep taking breaks, obviously. They make you hold your breath, push for 10 seconds. What feels nasty is the holding your breath part. It just felt like my head was gonna explode. Every time I would hold my breath and push, my whole face, I could feel it purple. So I'm pushing and guys, guess what happened? Which this happens a lot too. So if it happens to you, do not feel embarrassed. But I pooped. I pooped twice actually. I did smell it, so I'm like, oh crap, I pooped myself. The nurse was like, that means you're pushing good. I like when moms poop. She's like, because that means that you're pushing good. So I pushed for like a total of 2 hours, guys. And finally, my beautiful baby girl came out. Thank God Almighty. It was a little scary at first because she was having difficulty breathing on her own, which I heard that is very common with a lot of babies. But thank God, you know, everything was fine with her. She's healthy. In the midst of all this, I'm trying to look at her because I'm worried. I'm looking at the nurses. I can't believe what just happened. The doctor tells me, okay, I feel like he starts sewing me. Turns out that I had a 3rd-degree tear. So he started sewing me, which I could kind of feel that. It was painful, actually. He even looked at me, he's like, "You're on epidural, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He told the nurse, "Push the button." Because I guess I wasn't supposed to be feeling it, but I could feel the pain. The whole recovery process when you're home, it kind of is a B. It is annoying, it's painful, but they give you medications. You know, I got Motrin, Tylenol. They give you like ice packs and Dermoplast spray for itching and burning, pads. After they got my baby to breathe on her own and she let out her cry, it was so beautiful to hear that. I got to hold her, I got to latch her, which that was a struggle too, but I can talk about that in another video. It was just such a beautiful experience. Like till this day, I think about it almost daily. Like I can't believe what my body went through. I literally thought that I was not capable of doing this. I didn't think I can push a baby out. I didn't think that I would handle the pain like I did. And I definitely did not think that I would go as far as 8 centimeters dilated without epidural. I am honestly super proud of myself, and above all, I'm super thankful with God. It was definitely God that got me through this and gave me the strength and the courage. I really wish that I would have filmed it. It would have been an amazing vlog, very interesting to see me suffering. I don't know how these other YouTubers do it, honestly. Probably not with Kaiser, or I don't know, but hopefully for the next baby, God willing, I want to try to, I don't know, sneak a phone in or a camera or something. It was just an amazing experience. Like all these women say, it definitely makes you feel more empowered. You can handle anything, any type of pain thrown at you. Like it just makes you feel like a superwoman. I would definitely do it all over again. Kaiser did treat us really well though, you know, although they're very strict. I love that they're on top of everything. Gave us like a little cute celebratory meal for Henry and I the next morning. Like they even brought us champagne with glasses. Really cute, very nice. So yeah, that was my labor experience. I hope I didn't miss anything. If you're about to give birth soon and you have any questions, any curiosities, please leave them down below in the comments section. Which if you are pregnant, congratulations to you and God bless you. Hope and pray that everything turns out perfectly fine for you as well. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends and family, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.